The timeline is now set in place of us knowing what will exactly happen to the markets, and it seems like we should prepare for moon, because that's what's literally upcoming. We are slightly dumping today, guys, but I think it's just a small cool-off period before another higher. As we see right here, BlackRock sells 2,544 Bitcoin, the largest outflow in months, guys. Right, so that's a little bit concerning. I don't know why they did sell here. Maybe because they watched our Bitcoin videos, right, about how it will go to zero someday. But for now, they're gonna keep pumping it until the collapse point. But who knows when the collapse will happen? I guess there will be signs. BlackRock just sold $375 million worth of Ethereum as well. Okay, seems like they're selling these coins that a lot of people believe are gonna make it to the new financial system. We did say though, just watch for the trend to go higher. You guys see this the black line here on this chart, right? It's the total IBIT inflows, guys. So it's been trending higher throughout time. When you see this thing go like this, right? When you see that thing go like that, guys, that's a big alarming issue. That's not happening right now. It's actually still moving higher. Not to mention, this thing goes up, consolidates, goes up, consolidates, goes up. What is it going to do? Maybe consolidate a bit, then go pop back up, guys, right? Due to the Federal Reserve, what's it called? Rate cuts that are incoming. We're going to be talking about that in just a sec, which I think we're going to moon. The deadline here is September. So, and here's BlackRock selling Ethereum, guys. Look at that outflow, but it doesn't matter because look how much money was pouring into Ethereum when it was rising, right? That's you can't really compare that to the amount of money that was poured in when it was pumping, guys. So I want to say that's really too concerning. Now if it repeats, right? If it keeps repeating, that's alarming. But not now. I don't know, but Fidelity just deposited 15,000 Ethereum as well, which is worth $50 million into Coinbase Prime. Fidelity is selling. Other institutions, huh? We'll see what happens. We'll just watch for the trend. If the trend keeps up, guys, that's an issue. But if it doesn't, then it's just a small retracement before we go higher. I do believe we're literally about to moon. That's what I think, because in just a sec we'll talk about it. But first, the reason why we did dump supposedly is because breaking, President Trump accuses JP Morgan and Bank of America of discriminating against him. Oh wow, so not only did Brad Garlinghouse got discriminated against, right, by Citibank, but as well as Donald Trump. Interesting. It seems like the banks and this what it feels like. It feels like traditional finance, right? The TradFi system goes after the people who really aren't shady, right? That's weird if you ask me. Both stocks are falling in pre-market trade as a result, right? And I think they did today, but they're moving. I hope they're recovering. And this is what he has to say about the banks, guys. But this is fantastic because he's pressuring the banks. You guys understand how big this is, or no? Because the banks are basically what are keep the system together as we speak, right? And the banks don't get scared. So this is what Donald Trump has to say about the banks, and them being terrified now.
And I believe what they did is they went to the regulators. You know, banks are not afraid of anything but a regulator. They're regulators and their wives. They're more afraid of their wives than the regulators. But the group they're really afraid of is bank regulators. And
Donald Trump is just so funny, guys, right? It's like he says whatever is on his mind. He doesn't care. Well, why would he when he's a president of the United States of America, right? So this is fantastic news. Really, this is good for everyone, by the way, not just the rich or whatever, right? We want the banks to be scared, to be fair, because they feel like they're on top of the world, right? Controlling everything. That's why we're here today, due to the banks, by the way, the central banks, which are connected to the Federal Reserve, right? And then connected to what? The government above. Whoever that may be. But let me tell you why we're gonna pump. Aside from all that stuff, okay, fantastic news from the White House. Quote, good day in the stock market. The Dow Jones, S&P, NASDAQ, all up. But there will be many more days like this. America is very rich again and stronger than ever before. Thank you for your attention to this matter. End quotes from Donald J. Trump. Now, why is this huge news? Not only did he say, hey, I'm making the stock market pump, right? But he did say as well that there will be many more days like this, not just one. You know what that means, right? Why do you think there will be many more days like this of the stock market green? And not to mention the crypto market was green as well before a small pullback here, right? The reason why is because he knows what's upcoming. It's basically guaranteed at this point. That's so crazy. We have waited for this day literally for years, guys. I'm not even kidding. The last time they cut rates was when the bear market started, okay, which was I think late 2021, 2022, around there, early 2022, somewhere there, guys. But again, it's happening. It's about to repeat. We're about to explode. Justin from Bitcoin Magazine. Goldman Sachs says we expect the FOMC to deliver 3 consecutive 25 basis point cuts starting in September. Wow, bullish for Bitcoin, guys. Right now, we got the main players of the system telling us, hey, the Federal Reserve is about to start cutting. September rate cut probability spiked to 90%. Here's why this is so crazy. It actually went to like 94% recently. I was seeing like screenshots like over 90%. It's basically guaranteed, guys. This is, yeah, it could change by the September meeting because this is all the way September 17th. Okay, so it could change by then. A lot can happen. Who knows? White swan, black swan events, right? But it's basically guaranteed because anything when it's above 85%, guys, that's what the Fed follows. So here's the game plan. The Federal Reserve is basically guaranteed to cut rates in the month of September. The markets are smelling this out, which is why the markets are pumping. Okay, this what the insiders knew, guys. This is why the markets have been pumping, right? Look at this. Why did this even happen in the first place? By the way, right? That was tariffs. Why did the stock market rise dramatically, front running the rate cut? Because they knew that the Fed will have to anyway. Right, that's the Dow Jones. Here's XRP. Why? Because due to the rate cut, guys. So the markets are already smelling this out. In my opinion, yeah, we could dump whatever, but sooner or later, guys, as soon as the Fed cuts for the first time, right, we're gonna pop. And it's gonna be fantastic for all markets. And not to mention, look at this. There is now a 50% possibility of Fed doing 3 rate cuts in 2025. A week ago, it was around 20%. Giga bullish for markets. Do you guys understand what this means? Now, remember, rate cuts are bullish, are fantastic long term. Right? They'll take effect like next year or something, guys, if they do start cutting soon. Everyone's going to be borrowing so much money, and the money printer will start back up again, which I believe it's going to be a lot more than three rate cuts. That's number one. Number two, it's going to be way more than 25 basis points, right? They're going to cut heavy because I'm predicting around fall, around this area, guys, right? So let's say we pop up over here somewhere. There is where a terrifying black swan event will occur. Things will dump. They'll cut crazy, and then after the cut, after them cutting, guys, right, and starting their money printer, whatever the case may be, $500 to $1 million per Bitcoin is incoming. $100 per XRP is incoming. Ethereum, 50K to 100K incoming. That's just my belief here. Okay, that's what I think will happen. So get ready because it's gonna get very insane. The reason why they should start cutting, if I were them, I would have been cut, because top analyst says the next 5 years could see no growth in workers at all, and sends a warning about the fate of the nation's economy. Right, so they already know that something bad is about to appear, guys, which is why the Fed is waiting for it to appear to have an excuse to cut, right? Because if they were to cut, I guess they'll be front running that issue. Though I think they should. Maybe they, people will figure out that they're insiders, which they obviously are. But yeah, they're getting ready, guys. And let me tell you why we're just going to keep going higher, right? Until next year, the collapse. It's literally until the collapse point. The reason why is all due to the United States domestic liquidity. You guys see these peaks and bottoms, right? I'm pretty sure these were these correlated to the charts some way, somehow, right? because every time the liquidity, right, the liquidity topped out right here, guys, what happened? What happened? That was probably during the height of the collapse back then, 2008 bubble pop, right? 2020 over here, 2021, right? End of 2021 was the top of the crypto markets, stock markets, right? So this thing is just, we need liquidity to just keep shooting up like this, guys, right? Until 2026 arrives. You guys can see the dates right here, right? So like up here, guys, that's like around 2026-ish, right? The middle of it or something. And then that's the top. And then what happens is like that, right? It just collapses on itself because probably the collapse moments, right? Which means though, the markets are going to soar and follow, right? Whatever happens with liquidity, the markets will follow. That's why Bitcoin is rising right now, because of global liquidity, right? The global M2. So it's just gonna get easy here, guys. We're gonna stay on top of it most definitely. Now, great returns to the stock market as well, right? So with XRP, we don't want it to go below. We do not want it to go below 280 right here, right? We don't want it to touch like 280 or something, somewhere around there, guys. With USDT, what I think will happen here in the very short term, this is all short term stuff, guys. It's gonna happen in the next day or two, right? I think what's gonna happen here for USDT is, yeah, we may cool off a bit, but it's gonna have another pop like this, right? It's gonna be another pop like this, and then it's gonna dump, right? When that occurs, so that's gonna be like with XRP, so something like this for XRP, guys, right? So maybe something like this, right? A dump, like this, and then a pump, right? That's where we're about to fly. That's what I think will happen with these charts in the very short term. Okay, guys. But let's see what happens. This isn't financial advice. Let's get prepared. But again, the days, the prosperity days are in reach, guys. Okay, it's within our grasp. It's almost there. It's almost here. We just have to get through a little bit of time, and then we'll reach the promised land. This isn't financial advice, but I'll prepare because things are about to go wild. What is this, Surface Mazies? See ya.